Hey everyone, this is James again. I'm the seminary intern here at the Cathedral for the summer, and I hope everyone is doing well and having a good start to the summer. Today we're going to do a short Bible study on the very last book of the Bible. This is the book of Revelations. Now, the book of Revelations is a wild book. It's called an apocalypse, which is where an apocalypse is where something is revealed by God to man. And so this is the very last book of the Bible, and it's written by John of Patmos, who has this epic dream. I don't know if you all have had wild dreams, but John has a really wild dream that is given to him by God, and it is an epic dream vision about the fulfillment of time, the fulfillment of history, where everything is going. And it is filled with poetry of angels and epic battles and seven-headed dragons, and it's a pretty wild book. You should check it out sometime. But it's a dream vision where God relates to John the mystery of time and the mystery of history and where everything is going. And as we know from the Gospels, where time is going is about what Jesus always talks about throughout the Bible is the coming reign of God, the coming kingdom of God. And this is still mysterious. He only describes what the kingdom of God is like, but we get glimpses of it through books like Revelations. So, as each one of us is living out our own stories, I'm living out my story, you're living out your story, your parents are living their stories, always remember that you're participating in an even bigger story, a larger story, God's story. We're all characters in the story of God. And that as we all look towards an understanding of where our future is heading, both in our own lives and in the world, we can meditate on the book of Revelation for glimpses of understanding. It's still very mysterious. It's a very mysterious and beautiful book, but we can work through it together for glimpses into where all this is going. So, we're going to read from chapter 21, where John sees some pretty wild stuff. So you can just close your eyes and pretending you're having a dream like John, and we can take a look at this together, and maybe you'll find it as beautiful and moving as I do. So, this is Revelations 21. John writes, "And then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'See, the home of God is among mortals. He will dwell with them. They will be his peoples, and God himself will be with them. And he will wipe every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away.' And the one who was seated on the throne said, 'See, I am making all things new.' Also he said, 'Write this, for these words are trustworthy and true.' And then he said to me, 'It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water as a gift from the spring of the water of life. Those who conquer will inherit these things, and I will be their God, and they will be my children.'" And so, I wasn't lying. It's pretty wild stuff. It's big stuff. I'm sorry you didn't get any seven-headed dragons in this passage, but maybe we'll get to do that next time. But this is what it tells us. This is maybe a word you've heard in church, but it tells us something about what it means to be in covenant with God. And a covenant is another word for promise. It's the relationship that God has to his people. It's us. And and these words give us a promise about what the future is going to look like, and that the story that we're all living out, the story that we're all living, is a story about being transformed into the children of God, because that is the promise that God has made to us, that we live in a covenant, and that all the world is being transformed to abide in the peace and the love and the understanding and the coming reign of the kingdom of God. Under the reign of the God who made all things and is now making all things new in your life, in my life, and in the life of the world. And the book of Revelation says that finally God will wipe away every tear. And there are tears in this life. Maybe you've had them. I cry. Lots of setbacks and disappointments, and things don't always make sense to us as we're living out our story. Things don't always make sense to me as I'm living out my story. I hit these hard moments where I'm not sure what's next, and I try to understand, and I don't always understand. But as I'm living out my story, I always have to remember the bigger story. The bigger story, the story of time, the story of God, and the promise that is made to each and every one of us. And that is that God is drawing each and every one of us unto Him. He made all things, and now He makes all things new. And we abide to that promise till the end of time. God promises to wipe away every tear. So, much love to all of you, and hope we get to see each other in person sometime. God bless.
Okay, now, here we go. You know, I know that you get scared from time to time, and grown-ups get scared too. Matter of fact, I get scared, and what I do when I get scared is I sing. I sing to myself there. There are songs that comfort me, and one of them is called Total Praise, and I'm going to sing that for you. Lord, I will lift mine eyes to the hills, knowing my help is coming from you. Your peace you give me in times of the storm. You are the source of my strength. You are the strength of my life. I lift my hands in total praise to you. You are the source of my strength. You are the strength of my life. I lift my hands in total praise to you. Amen. 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 Because you know what? Being prayerful and especially grateful and being scared can't exist at the same time. So, if you're grateful to God for being there for you, for protecting you, it'll make you feel better.